Imagine going days without food. Your body begins to tremble, not from fear, but from pure exhaustion. Outside, the wind howls. Snow filters through the holes in your ragged shelter, biting your skin. You haven't seen real food in weeks. Just flour, rotten water. You can barely lift your head. Beside you lies the corpse of your neighbor, the same man you used to play soccer with as a child. His skin is pale. His fingers are stiff. He's not breathing. And suddenly, your brain goes silent. All you can hear is a voice inside saying,
"If I don't eat, I'll die."
Would you do it? This isn't a post-apocalyptic movie. This is real history. This is what happened to thousands of people in Nazino, a frozen island in the middle of nowhere, where Stalin sent society's garbage and left them to die. In 1928, Joseph Stalin took full control of the Soviet Union, and with him came a brutal new idea. Break the old system, build a new one, at any cost. His first target? The countryside. Farmers were forced into collective farms, stripped of their land, livestock, and dignity. Anyone who resisted was labeled a kulak, not a millionaire, just someone with 2 cows, or who had hired a neighbor to help during harvest. One day you were a proud farmer. The next, an enemy of the state. Tens of thousands were deported, families torn apart. But that was just the beginning. As famine spread across Ukraine, Kazakhstan, and rural Russia, people flooded into the cities searching for food. The regime responded with terror. She searched the village for the girl with the best skin. She promised work, food, safety. That girl was never seen again. Her blood was poured into the bath that night. Next episode, the Countess who slaughtered 650 girls to stay young. Subscribe to the History Lens, so you don't miss what she did next. To Stalin, hunger wasn't proof that the system had failed. It was proof that his enemies were sabotaging it. And so he made a list. A new internal enemy, the saboteur peasant, the lazy worker, the invisible traitor. Entire villages were blacklisted. Trains loaded with grain passed starving towns without stopping. If your field underproduced, it was counter-revolution. If your child took a potato, it was theft from the state. In the Ukrainian country, entire families were forced to hand over every last kernel of wheat. And when there was nothing left, they were beaten, or worse. Those who survived the seizures ate anything they could. Tree bark, leather belts, stray animals. In many villages, the dead outnumbered the living. But the regime didn't send food. It sent secret police. Reports of famine were declared anti-Soviet propaganda. Journalists were arrested, foreigners expelled. And so, millions died in silence. No memorials, no headlines, just shallow graves and empty homes. In 1932, Stalin issued the internal passport decree. Anyone without official documents, proof of a job or an address could be arrested immediately. And so they were. A 12-year-old girl waiting for her mother at a train station. A student visiting his aunt. A pregnant woman holding her papers. Arrested anyway. Over 85,000 people were detained in a matter of days. Moscow and Leningrad were being cleansed, but the jails were full. The camps overwhelmed. What to do with all these people? That's when the secret police stepped in. Genrikh Yagoda, head of the NKVD, proposed a new solution. Resettle them on uninhabited islands. Let nature do the work. And so, a plan was approved. Thousands were selected. No trial, no sentence, just names on a list. Some would be sent to build roads, others to frozen forests. And 6,000 of them were sent to a small island in the middle of a Siberian river. Uninhabited. No infrastructure, no food, no tools, no escape. The perfect place to erase people. Nazino Island wasn't chosen for its potential. It was chosen for its isolation. In May 1933, around 6,200 people were crammed into river barges with no beds, no bathrooms, no supplies. They were told they were going to start a new life. They believed it. But what waited for them was an uninhabited island in the middle of a frozen river, deep in the heart of Siberia. No housing, no tools, no food, no way back. When the barges reached Nazino, the nightmare began. Guards forced prisoners off the boats at gunpoint. There were no shelters, just mud, mosquitoes, cold wind, and fear. People had no tools, no leaders, no supplies. They were handed a small bag of flour every few days. No pots, no matches, no firewood. To eat, they mixed flour with filthy river water. Many fell violently ill. Others starved instantly. Within 48 hours, dozens of bodies lay across the island. The weak froze to death. The sick died in silence. The guards watched from the riverbanks and did nothing. The plan was failing fast, and what came next no one had prepared for. With no food and no shelter, people turned on each other. Groups formed around strength. The strong preyed on the weak. They robbed, beat, and killed over scraps. People were stabbed for a shirt, for shoes, for a bag of flour. Guards watched from the riverbanks. Sometimes they shot people. Sometimes they laughed. Women were abducted, some traded between prisoners, others exploited by guards in exchange for food. Nazino had become a feral hellscape beyond order or reason. But the true horror hadn't arrived yet. It would come when the bodies stopped piling up and started disappearing. At first, it was just rumors. A missing limb here, a cut open body there. But soon, it became undeniable. Survivors began reporting cases of raw flesh being carved from corpses. Some were already dead. Others weren't. One survivor described a girl who was tied to a tree, alive, as parts of her body were sliced off. She bled to death while others waited their turn to eat. A Soviet guard's diary, declassified in 2017, admits, "We were ordered not to interfere." But the darkest confession, a prisoner who told investigators, "My brother cut strips from his own body, said it was better than watching me starve." Eyewitness accounts, Soviet reports, and secret testimonies all confirm it. Nazino had become a cannibal colony. Not fiction, not exaggeration, documented fact. After just 13 days, Soviet officials realized the situation was out of control. They evacuated the island, moved survivors to nearby settlements. But over 3,000 to 4,000 people had already died. There were no funerals, no charges, no accountability, just a quiet order from above. Forget Nazino. Files were locked, witnesses silenced, maps were edited. Nazino disappeared from maps, from history. For over 50 years, no one spoke of it. In the late 1980s, with the fall of the Soviet Union, classified archives were opened for the first time. Researchers uncovered detailed reports written by an inspector named Velichko, who had visited Nazino weeks after the horror. His notes described cannibalism, open graves, and extreme psychological collapse. One survivor confessed, "We ate tree bark, rats, and then people. I still see their faces when I close my eyes." Another said, "It wasn't hunger, it was despair. Hunger eats your body, despair eats your soul." These testimonies were buried for decades, but now you know them. If you had been on that island, what would you have done? Would you steal food? Would you betray someone? Would you cross the line? Or would you give up before turning into something you're not? Drop your thoughts in the comments. This is the kind of story where your opinion really matters. Because history isn't just about the past, it's about what we would do in their place. Nazino still exists, but there's no plaque, no guided tour, no monument, just a name the world was told to forget. There are no ruins, no fences, no graves, only grass and trees and silence. A photograph taken recently shows what remains. The island is overgrown. The river still flows around it. But nothing marks the horror buried beneath. No signs, no warnings, no one to say, this is where thousands were left to die. It looks peaceful now, but the soil is full of bones. The Soviet Union never apologized. No officials were punished. The files stayed locked for 50 years, and when they were finally opened, no one paid attention. No one goes to Nazino. No one teaches Nazino. Most have never heard the name, but now you have. You've seen it. You've heard what happened, and maybe, just maybe, someone will remember.